Hello, I'm Ralph and welcome back to the channel. It's my time, let's go. We're glad to have you here. If you enjoy the channel, please take the time to subscribe, like, ring the bell. It all helps our channel grow and we appreciate it very much. Today we're going to be working on the black pearl trike. As we've got the bottom together, we need to put the pistons in, the cylinders on, we need to get the heads on, and the bottom rocker boxes on today. So that's our plan. So stick with us and we'll see how it goes. Now that the cylinders are all washed out and oiled up inside, we're going to check the end gaps of the rings before we put them together, being sure to match each cylinder to each piston so we know exactly that we're within specs. So we'll go ahead and do that. What we're going to do is put our rings down in our cylinders and check our end gap. It's easy to put them down in there and use your piston to push them down and square them up in there. And then we should be looking for anything from a 15 thou to a 24 thou, depending on whether it's an Evo or a twin cam, something like that, as your limits. So you can check your manual for your limits for those. And do both cylinders, and I suggest putting each one in its own package that they came out of and writing it down, and then you have them for later. Top ring and second ring both have to be done. And everything seems to be okay. So we're ready to run. We're going to get ready to assemble and start putting this motor together. So we're getting our cylinders ready to go on today. We've got our O-rings on the base gasket, and we're just going to put a bit of oil on this ring before we install it on here. There we go. So we've got all our O-rings in place, and now we're going to take our little plates that we made up and put them down on the base of the motor. So now that we got the clip in, we're going to get ready to put the cylinder on. We're going to oil up the cylinder good. It's all cleaned out. And we make sure our rings are where they're supposed to be. Now all we got to do is lift the motor up, lift the cylinder up. There, number one cylinder in. And we just put those on there, finger tight, but it keeps our cylinder from moving up and down while we deal with the front cylinder here now. So this one can't move, so wherever we position our rods at, this one will stay solid. So now for the front one. We're going to put the front cylinder on. I always like to put some oil in there, make sure that things are lubed up for the initial startup. There's always about a cup of oil in your case. And we'll just put a bit in there, just so the bearings and that aren't dry when they get fired up. Shot a bunch back into the bearing. And we'll do the same thing. We'll just install our species again. And we're in there. Putting these on, you want to make sure that your top ring gap is on the inside facing the intakes. Don't get them confused so that they're not out there on the thrust surfaces. There we go, in there. Now that we've got everything cleaned up and ready to go, we've got our bolts all cleaned and wire wheeled off, and they're ready to go. This keeps everything in place. There's a couple missing here, the ones we used for up here. We're going to take those off now. But as we go to use them, we can take them out, put them in one at a time, and nothing gets lost that way. So it's a neat little plate that we've made up just to hold them all. And as you can see, they're all labeled there. And it's quite handy. We have another one for the other parts with the valves and all that sort of stuff, but this will get your heads and stuff on in place. So we're going to get it ready to put our heads on now. We're using James gaskets, so we don't need the little O-ring that goes here. And we've cleaned the surface off nicely. As we put in each bolt, I'm going to shoot a bit of oil in them and around the bottom surface. Not saturated in oil, just clean. Dump out any excess that's in there. we're going to go around and torque our head bolts down. Now there's a sequence and a pattern for those. But as the torque values go, you start out with 10 to 12 pounds, do them all the way around. Go down to 15 to 17 pounds, do them all again all the way around. And then make a mark on your head bolt just with a little marker. And then take your wrench out and turn your bolt at 90 degrees. So just like that, at 90 degrees. And that'll give you your finishing torque for you to go all the way around. It ends up being about 42 pounds, but that's about the way they like to do it. Oh, just for my own curiosity. Yeah. 42 pounds. So we're getting ready to put our rocker box gaskets on, and you notice that this gasket has a curved part here, and this is supposed to cover this hole here. So it's very important because of the breathing. So you need to have that gasket on that way. If it's on this way, it's wrong, and this hole is all open. So be sure to put them on the right way. So we've got them ready. Slide our cover in here. And we'll just start with a short bolt to help line it up, get our gasket lined up. When you're putting your rocker cover bolts back in, one thing to remember, you want to Loctite them. There's two bolts that are longer than the rest. Like that. And the longer bolts go up into the cover on the left-hand side of the motor on the tall part. I just want to go down, not even quite finger tight with those. We're going to make sure that the rocker cover is not interfering with our valve guides, valve springs at all before we snug it down. Now getting the torque wrench in there will be a little bit of a trick, but you should be able to do that. Start with number 1 here at 10 to 12 inch-pounds, foot-pounds. 1. Number 2 is on the far side. Number 3 from the far side. 4, 5, number 6. Now we'll go along and do the other side, and we'll get ready to put the tops on.